Shalom, shalom. Welcome to Supporting Yah's Cornerstone. My name is Heshra'ah, and that name means moved by Yah. In today's video, I'm going to talk about patience and people again, and how to proceed and move in caution when it comes to dealing with new people, people you've just met, and etc. So this will be part 2 to the previous video I did on patience and people. So what I want to do today is give you a few tips on how to proceed with getting to know people and meeting new people, especially when they're coming into this way of life. So these will be tips to proceed with people socially in a wise way and lower the risk of harm to you or your family or your study group. Because a lot of times that's the main concern with people. Some people are a little squeamish about dealing with new people they just met, especially sometimes as it pertains into coming into the Hebrew Israelite way of life. I find over the years that most of us fall in 2 categories. And if you see me looking down, I'm just looking down at my notes. The first category would be people who are loving and trusting of almost everybody. The second category would be people who are loving, trusting, and open to only a few people or nobody at all. And so I have had a chance to meet both types of people over the years, and it seems that most people, not everybody, but most people falls in one extreme or the other sometimes. Both of these ways of being can be bad. You know, it can be not so good to just be trusting and loving of everybody, and it cannot be so good to only be open to building trust with a few people or nobody at all, you know. The first is the most dangerous, and both can be damaging. So the most dangerous way to be, I would say, is to be trusting of everybody. I would say that would be the most dangerous one. But both, even the one where you're open to trusting and loving just a few people or nobody, that can be bad in the sense of if it goes to the extreme, and you have some people that don't want to be bothered with anybody new. And so what that means is you're not open sometimes to allowing Yah to use you to help someone else, and then you less open to giving people a chance, which the Creator is for. So I'm hoping these tips will help the first brand of people to be safer, and the second brand of people to come out a little bit more if we find that we're in a shell for different reasons, and that we'll come out a little bit more, but at the same time to be able to address the fears and issues we have of dealing with new people by applying certain things and remembering certain tips, so that it opens the door for you to get to know people but still bring less harm to yourself and your families and your study group, which is a lot of times people's main concern when they kind of shut themselves off sometimes, is that they're going to be hurt or their family will be hurt. Well, there's ways to proceed and have that less likely to happen. So, tip number 1, don't trust anyone quickly. And that sounds simple, but for some people, that's something that they kind of automatically do, trust people right off. And so, but that's my first tip. Don't trust anyone quickly. Even when we come into this way of life and we proclaim to the Creator that we want to change and we want to live according to His law, statutes, and judgments, it says in the Bible that He does not trust us right off. And it says that we will be tested, So even the Creator doesn't automatically give trust based off of what we say. And so that's the first tip. Don't trust anyone quickly. Sirach 19:4 says, one who trusts others too quickly has a shallow mind, and one who sins does wrong to himself. And so we don't want to be shallow-minded. So and Sirach is in the Apocryphy. So you're not going to find it in the King James Version of the Bible. You'll find it in a Catholic Bible, or sometimes you can purchase it separately. But it's a part of the Apocryphy, part of what they call the missing books of the Bible. So that was Sirach chapter 19, verse 4. One who trusts others too quickly has a shallow mind. And so in proceeding and dealing with people that you just met or you've only known a short time, you don't want to trust them quickly. That is not a wise thing to do. Number 2, consider what in your life should be kept private. Be mindful of any personal information you share with others. So that would be number 2, because when you're sharing, if you're not thinking about what personal information that you're sharing, you could be, if somebody's mind is having issues in different areas, if they having problems or they have a problem in different areas in their character, they could take that and use it against you. Use it against your family. Use it against someone in your study group if you're mentioning their personal issues per se. And so you always want to be thoughtful about what you're saying as it pertains to your personal life. Sirach 6, chapter 6, verse 5 through 7 says, pleasant speech multiplies friends, and a gracious tongue multiplies courtesies. Let those who are friendly with you be many, but let your advisors be 1 in 1,000. When you gain friends, gain them through testing, and do not trust them hastily. And so once again, we're hearing about not trusting people quickly. And when you gain a friend, the book of Sirach suggests you gain it through testing. Just like when we come into the Creator, the scripture tells us that Yah will test us. Yah didn't just take Abraham's word that he wanted to live right. He just didn't take Sarah's word. Okay, he tested them. So Yah doesn't automatically give complete trust. So giving a person a chance does not mean you giving them 100% trust. Okay. So that's important to understand. But as it pertains to personal info about your family or even about other people's families, be mindful of what you're saying and who you're saying it to. Okay. There's plenty of things to talk about without talking about a whole lot of other people's personal information, especially when you're talking to people who you don't know. So you don't know them well enough yet to know whether they're a gospel or not, whether they will take that information and use it in a wicked way or not. You don't know them like that to even know yet. So just be very mindful when it comes to that. Giving out personal, sharing things from your private life. Tip number 3, don't discuss how much money you make with other people. And also that includes, don't discuss if you have a high credit score. Okay. Because, and I know that may sound weird when I mention the high credit score, because most people can put 2 and 2 together. if you just casually talk about, oh, I have a credit score of 700, this how I got it, I got a credit score of 800, then people will automatically know sometimes that means you have the ability to get credit cards, loans, and a whole array of money that you have the ability to borrow most of the time. Okay, and if you're talking to somebody that you don't know or you've only known for a short time, you don't know how they will take that information. When you discuss your finances with a random person you just met or have only known a short time, you can open the door for someone to use you or begin planning things surrounding having access to your finances. And so you don't want to cause that problem like that. Now, this same thing goes for other people's financial information that you may know too. Don't share theirs either with people who you just met, you don't know, or you've only known them for a short period of time. Just be mindful sharing your financial status and your credit ability status, okay? Because if a person's mind is not in the right place, if it's not in a righteous place, then they can misuse that information. Now, this same tip applies to when you're dealing with people who have money. Okay, it applies. So a lot of times we would take that as meaning it's okay as long as I'm talking to somebody that's poor or just working class, or I just use that advice with those types of people. No, even with rich people, middle class people that might come into your midst or that are well off, that might come into your study group or whatever, you still would apply that rule to them. Because here's what happens sometimes. You have some well-off brothers and sisters who are well-off financially, who part of the way they attempt to keep their money is misusing others, misusing the working class, misusing the poor. Some people do that. Have I known some people to do that? Yes. It happens. Okay. So you can lessen the chance of people even thinking in that way if you don't talk about, just randomly talking about your financial situation. Now, is every well-to-do or rich brother or sister, rich person that way? No. But remember, we're talking about people that you've only known for a short time or that you just met. So you have to give it a chance to see what type of person they are. Are they really going to try to live right or change, or get to know their personality to see? Because when somebody's successful in business or they're well-to-do or whatever, and you may think, well, I can go to them for financial advice. I can go to them to figure out how to fix my credit. I can go to them for whatever financial information. And that's a good idea. But it's good to just either find a general way to ask the question, or let some time go by, kind of feel them out for a while and see if they're okay to go to about that. Okay. And it's okay to pray about that before you go, if you're thinking about that too. Is this a good person for me to talk to about whatever it is, about my financial situation? So I want to just repeat again, there's nothing wrong with being rich. Being rich in itself or being wealthy does not make a person unrighteous. But yes, you do have people who will come into this way of life who are well-to-do that will misuse the poor and the working class within the group in a way that's wicked. And it just happens. It is what it is. But it's not everybody, but it is some. So not discussing your financials with people would also include those people. Wait till you get to know people a little bit. Wait till they've been around for a while. See what type of person they are. So if you go to Sirach chapter 13, verse 4 through 7, it talks about that, how some wealthy people can be, or financially successful people can be. And Sirach chapter 13, verse 4 through 7 says, a rich person will exploit you if you can be of use to him. But if you are in need, he will abandon you. If you own something, he will live with you. He will drain your resources without a qualm. That means he won't feel bad about it. When he needs you, he will deceive you and will smile at you and encourage you. He will speak to you kindly and say, what do you need? He will embarrass you with his delicacies until he has drained you 2 or 3 times. And finally, he will laugh at you. Should he see you afterwards, he will pass you by and shake his head at you. So that's talking about somebody wealthy who's misusing somebody with less than them, So, and not like, as I said again, not every wealthy man or woman is that way, but some of them can be that way in the Hebrew Israelite lifestyle. And of course, some of them can be that way that don't live the Hebrew Israelite lifestyle. But I'm speaking of this way, because a lot of times we assume when it comes to people, we'll say, oh, they have money, so I can talk to them about my finances. I can talk to them about this and that because they have money. Why would they try to misuse me? But I guarantee you, it does happen. I have known of it happening over the years, and it is sad when it does. It is just horrible. But that is something that you need to know. I've even known of single moms with just working, taking care of their children, to get misused by those who had more than them. Okay. I've known that to happen. And so I just wanted to let you know to be mindful of these things, because sometimes these are things people wouldn't normally suspect or think about. But just remember, when it comes to the wealthy, sometimes how they plan to keep their money is by draining the working class and poor of theirs. And that even happens sometimes within the ones who know the name of Yah. Not all the time, but sometimes. So be careful sharing your financial information with people you just met, whether they're rich or poor or whatever the case may be. Tip number 4. Strive to be kind and pleasant in your speech and countenance. Because sometimes when we are on guard, that may show on our faces. It may show by in how we act. Where if I act like I'm already on guard, then that person is already aware of, okay, they don't trust anybody. So either or it'll cause them to act in a certain kind of way. And if they do have some sneakiness or deviousness in them, they may even more try to cover it up or try to do roundabout things, try to be a little more clever in how they do things. But if you just kind and nice overall in your speech and in your countenance, it helps people to become more comfortable. And that's something that my husband used to say years ago. But that is true. It helps people to relax. And if they have any ill will in their mind towards you or any misuse, a lot of times they'll be less clever about trying to implement that. And then that'll kind of let you know right off if there is any ill intent. You'll learn it sooner most of the time rather than later, if that's the case. The next reason why you won't do that, of course, is because it's right. Treat people how you would want to be treated. And so that's another reason to do that too. But that is a tip in dealing with new people too. If a person has ill intent, this can help curb that, or they'll think they have fooled you or that you must be a fool, and they will proceed with any wicked plans with less caution, which is what I just spoke about. Remember, people will continue to be and do what they know. Leave room for them to change. Because remember, that's why that's a large portion of people's reason for coming to Yah, is that they want to change some things. Now, when they come and when their intentions are good, they don't know everything they need to change. They're not aware of that. But they know enough about their lives to know I need to change something a lot of times. So, and I'm saying that because let's say a person is deceitful. Let's say they do misuse people for money. Let's say all that. Well, you hoping over time that this mindset will change. That's your hope and that's your prayer, is that it changes. And so that's something to keep in mind. But you still have to be circumspect in what you're saying and your actions and dealing with them until you find out, are they a certain way? Will they make those changes? So, but at the same time, remember, there is so much to talk about, so much to enjoy and have fun with other people without that you can do without putting yourself, your family, or your study group at risk. Okay. So it's only like a handful of things, or maybe a little bit more than a handful of things for you to remember when you're dealing with new people. But that's not going to take away from allowing them to enjoy their time around you. Because there are plenty of things to talk about than personal matters or some of the things that tips I just gave. The next piece of advice: pray for the person. Once you're around somebody for a time, you'll get to know certain things, or y'all represent certain things that they may need to change. Pray for them concerning those things. Especially in the areas of their life or in their character that Yah is showing you. That he's showing, your minister, or your moray and whatever. And whoever else. The things that's being presented that he's working with them on then. Pray for them in those areas. Try to be encouraging when you can, if possible, in those areas. And if that encouragement just falls into you praying for them, then that's fine too. But our hope is that as new people come into this way of life, our hope is that whatever their flaws are, that they have that the Creator blesses them to change those things. And I hope this has been helpful and you gaining some knowledge on you don't have to avoid people altogether because you're scared of being hurt. And you don't have to miss out on what potentially could be a good friendship or something also because you're scared. You can proceed and get to know people, but do it in a cautious way. Tip 1 was, don't trust anybody quickly, because Yah doesn't trust anybody quickly either. And that goes straight into the second tip. If you're not trusting a person quickly, then you definitely not giving them out a lot of personal, private information about you, your family, or people in your study group. Somebody having an issue with, I don't know, having the wrong thoughts on something, or just whatever. You wouldn't be sharing that with somebody you just met or you've known only a short time. So that was tip 2. Be careful sharing personal information. Tip 3, don't discuss your financial situation with new people or people you've only known a short period of time. Okay? You wouldn't do that right off. Now, if you need some help financially or something like that, then you would go to people within your group or within your community that you kind of know, or that Yah has shown that that's okay. But for the most part, you're not sharing personal financial information with people you just met. And that's including no matter what financial bracket they're in, whether they poor, working class, middle class, or wealthy. Doesn't matter. Number 4, strive to be kind and pleasant in your speech and also in your countenance. Okay, that was tip number 4. But I hope this has been helpful. Please remember to like this video. I think it helps YouTube to the algorithm to share it with more people. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you would like to contact me, you can at supporting, not supporting Yah's Cornerstone, but yahscornerstone at gmail.com. yahscornerstone at gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram under supporting Yah's Cornerstone, and also there's a Facebook page called Supporting Yah's Cornerstone. If you have comments, you're welcome to email them to me. Leave them at the bottom of this video, whether you find it on YouTube or Facebook, or and I appreciate your time. Shalom, shalom.